this is like something I don't get. Like, there's people out there that do question this fucking pointless existence, but I really don't get how people don't question it. People will just say, "Oh, I think God did it," or they say that, or aliens fucking helped us exist, or they don't even question like why are we surviving and doing these pointless jobs, and why are we keep reproducing and causing more problems and suffering with others. People don't question them things. People love to be distracted. That's what I think. Like, people are distracted by their sports. People are distracted by like their kids that they created. People are distracted by music, video games. People are distracted by their jobs. People are distracted by making fun of somebody. People are distracted by their friends, family, you name it, good and bad. But people don't question why we reproduce. Why do we work to death and compete with each other? Like, people don't question that. People just want to accept it and keep it going, which I don't think is right, but I can't fucking convince people that. I just hope, like, the person that has a kid, the kid enjoys life somehow and is happy. You know what I mean? Because I guess there is kids that do enjoy life, but it's very slim, man. Seriously. Like, how come people will question about, like, how did the Earth came to be, but people don't question why do we do this? Why do we do this shit? In my opinion, it's all pointless. Like, no matter what your purpose is in life, it's like what I said in my videos, it's just pointless. Yeah, you have to. Your purpose of like being an astronaut is to figure out planets and stuff, but that's pointless. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't mean nothing when you're dead. You're just dead in the ground, and it doesn't matter. It's just you make a pointless purpose, and it's something that you cope with the suffering world. It's literally what it is. And people just don't even question it. People don't question why we're doing all these things, and people don't question why there's so much bad stuff in this world. People just don't question it. People just rather hear the toxic positivity stuff, and they're not realistic with anything. They think everything's so good when people are struggling. People are feeling like garbage. People are struggling to cope with this society, because society pressures people to be this certain like person and be like this, try to have this certain status or have these type of connections and reproduce and do it all over again. It's never ending. And people don't question, like, why do we keep doing the same things over and over again? It's like we're respawning in a video game. When you're dead playing Call of Duty, you're respawning back. You're doing the same things over and over again. It's a cycle. It never ends, and people just fucking don't question it. People love to question about God, space. People love to question about like their own hobbies. People like to question on people because they love drama. You know what I mean? But they don't question this existence, and they don't question why it's pointless. I always think it's pointless. It's just even the things I do, like lift weights, like go to vacations, like all these things that I do that that keep me happy, like temporarily, I question it. Why do I keep doing this? What's the point? You know, but this life's just pointless. People just don't want to question anything. They just want to tell you to shut up and just fucking accept everything. You know, like why don't people want to try and improve life? You know, but people don't. People rather just be self-centered, and people rather just be better than somebody and compete over something stupid. You know, it's just pointless going to work and then going home and doing it all over again and dying. Like, is that what life's all about? And there's people that just don't even worry. They're just homeless, or they go through more suffering than others. You know what I mean? Or people that are rich, they do go through suffering, and they just fucking just tell you that life's fucking awesome, and really it's not.
The human species will never find the cure to pain and suffering in this life. And why I think this? Because you can't have the good without the bad. There's diseases out there. There's disabilities out there. There's mental health problems out there. There's physical health problems out there that there is no cure for. You know, people say, "Oh, the government's hiding something from it." I don't think so, because the government would want to keep people alive and want you to conform, you know? They don't want people dead, so I don't believe in that. So I really do think that humans will never find the cure to pain and suffering, because at the end of the day, nature defeats you at the end. You'll lose, you know? Yeah, humans can improve. Humans can absorb the punches, but at the end of the day, you'll get knocked out, because you're not going to live forever. And pain and suffering's going to defeat you with a health problem, for example, or some random tragedy, like you get run over by a car, you know? Or you try to do the S, you know what I mean? Or someone kills you because of revenge, for example, or they do it out of hate, you know? Or nature just kills you in your sleep, you know? In a so-called peaceful way, you know? And humans, intelligence has a limit, so we can't figure out how to cure the pain and suffering in his life, you know? And people say pain makes me stronger, so that makes me believe that people are content with pain and suffering. And that tells me that pain and suffering will never be cured. Like, cancer will always be around, heading around the corner, go kill somebody. You know, or the flu, or pneumonia, because those things can only get treated. We only can treat those things. Same with, like, all other stuff, you know. We can't find a cure to annihilate them, you know. And a vaccine isn't a cure either. That can basically just treat you, you know? Like, the human species will never find the cure to this chaotic, painful, suffering life, you know? Because another thing is people keep bringing people here, and yeah, they could have a good life. I'm not denying that. It could end up positive, but they'll be experiencing pain and suffering still, even though they have a good life. And that can still cause pain and suffering to other people, because they can get upset when someone dies from extreme pain, you know? And there's evil people out in the world. People will murder people. There's people that are rapists. There's bullies out there. There's, what's it called? There's people that'll lie to you for their personal gain. Like, whatever bad person you think of in your head. That's why pain and suffering will never be cured, because new people will be here and create new problems, and it's a never-ending loop, you know? And humans are competitive. Humans are trying to get something out of somebody. And, like, competitiveness can cause pain to people and suffering when someone loses, or they can't get what they want, or it gets to the point where the stronger wins and the weak get defeated, and that will always happen in this life, you know? And there's no such thing as a perfect world either, so that makes me think there will never be a cure to pain and suffering, you know? The thing is, pain and suffering doesn't always mean you'll get a good outcome ahead of you, you know, because, like, for example, your immune system can only take so much. It gets weaker the older you get, and you're not going to be able to absorb the punches for that long. It's going to eventually annihilate you, nature. So pain and suffering will always be the winner, basically. And yeah, I guess people will try to bring people to try to solve problems in this world, try to figure out how to get the cure, but that's selfish, though, because you're causing pain and suffering to other people, and you're forcing them to sacrifice their life just to figure out things in this world. Like I said in my one video, just putting band-aids on everything, right? And yeah, I mean, this video is very pessimistic, you know, and some people may not be able to handle this type of video, and I'm not a know-it-all or anything. This is just what I think. And I do know that there's positive in this world. There's things I do enjoy in life, and like, I solo traveled. I hang out with my friend and his brothers and stuff like that. I enjoy going to the gym. I like to run, you know. But pain and suffering will win at the end of the day. I see it for how it is, you know. All these things I do are copes, just to escape from the brutal reality, you know. And pain and suffering will never be cured, because we sacrifice in this world, try to get comfort, we try to get pleasure, we try to feel good in this world. We want to feel happy, we want to get peace in this world, you know. That's suffering and pain, because we got to work for it, and we got to adapt in this life, and not everyone can adapt because of limitations on how you were born with certain genetics you have, or the product of your environment can be so strong to the point where it can damage your brain and not be able to function in a society, you know? So, but yeah, I'll admit there's people that do have good lives, you know? There's people that uh, get born with good upbringings and they had decent parents and they are able to enjoy life, but majority of people have a hard time doing that, from what I see, you know? And all because that person had a good life, they bring another generation of kids. That doesn't guarantee they'll have a good life. Their life can be so shit to the point where they won't be able to handle life, you know? So, as long as you keep bringing humans in this world, there will never be a cure to pain and suffering. Because that's inevitable, you know? And animals experience this shit too. Because this is nature, and it's how biology works. And to me, I think biology is not good. It's not a good thing, you know? I try to question it because biology brings a lot of messed up people in this world, you know? And also it has brought some good people, but doesn't mean biology is a good thing. I think it's bad because it creates new problems, you know? Yeah, while existing, it'll never be cured, you know? Diseases will always be here. There will be new strains that will be stronger, like the coronavirus. There could possibly be another pandemic, you know? There could be stronger cancers out there. There could be a new virus that somehow developed, you know, because that happens. And that can hurt people. And there's like rare birth defects out there that cause problems to people. And that will never be cured because it seems impossible because once someone is born with the genetics that they got, they can't change them, you know? They unfortunately have to accept it and live this life with a lot of struggle, and they could have a good life, but that struggle can be so intense to the point where they not like life, you know? So I don't think someone can cure someone's birth defect or some disability, you know, because once you were born, that's how your genetics are. You come in. The only thing you can do is camouflage your genetics. You can mask it, you know. That's all you can do. There's no healing like this, and things go away, you know. It doesn't work like that. But there will be no cure to this pain and suffering in this world. And they'll say, oh, like, then how are we supposed to experience good? There's no pain and suffering. But the thing is, you'll experience a lot of bad. It doesn't mean you'll experience that much good. Yeah, like some people can tolerate pain more than others with certain things. Some people just can't. They can't at all because of how they were born. You know, genetics or how they were raised. They could have been abused possibly. I can give them a hard time. I mean, yeah, they could heal, they could recover, but I don't see that. Like, I wish I can say that pain and suffering can be gone. I wish I can say that people can have good lives and not uh, ever experience bad, you know? But I just don't see that. I see a lot of people experiencing a lot of pain and suffering that affects their life, and nature wins at the end, and certain people can get lucky and experience a better life, you know, and Nature still wins, even if they have a good life. Pain and suffering will always win, you know? Some people will be able to have like armor packed for a long time. They can tolerate the pain, but it'll get you at the end. Because this is all about reproduction. That's what this life's all about, this biological purpose. You reproduce to prolong this human existence. You spread your DNA, and it's the same thing over and over again. It's all pointless, you know, but while you're living, there's meaning. Like, you experience pain and the suffering, you experience good and bad, and sadness, happiness, you know? So, the thing is, reproduction isn't a good thing, though. It causes a lot of pain and a lot of suffering and a lot of bad and a lot of chaos, you know? The thing is, like, people say there's free will, and I don't think there is, because if I had free will, like, I would get rid of the things that would cause a lot of harm to me, like my mental illness, for example. Same thing for other people, right? They would choose a better place to live, to be born at, or they would choose to live in a better situation. But nope, that's not how it works, you know? And I think decisions are very complicated on how people decide things in this world, you know? There's a lot of factors on a decision. It's not just free will and stuff like that. And yeah, now I'm just kind of rambling right now, but the thing is, the older you get, the harder it is to fight nature, you know? Because nature's gonna hit you with something. Something random will come, or like whatever it is. Yeah, you'll have good things in the future, possibly. You know, you may have a little more good things at some point, but nature's gonna still get you, you know? Because the older you get, it gets worse, you know? Like, you can try to get more cope so it won't be as bad. Try to relieve your stress. You can try to do things that make you feel good, but that won't last forever, you know? This life's something else. Like, every time I see a little kid out there, I hope that little kid has a good life. I hope the parents are good, you know? Even though the parents are selfish and the kid never has to be born, right? I just hope the kid has a good life and doesn't go through so much pain and suffering, you know? That's all you can do when you see people out in this world, you know? Just seeing that and hoping isn't guaranteed the kid and will have a good life, and the parents are treating the kid right, you know? So you never know what's behind closed doors. They could be a really shitty parent, you know? Mess the kid up for life, right? So, and people make money off pain and suffering too, you know? Like, you get hurt, you gotta go get treated, you know? You gotta go to the doctor and they treat you. You have a mental breakdown, you experience anxiety attacks, you gotta go to a therapist, you gotta go to a psychiatrist, they say, and spend your money, you know? And that comes with all kinds of pain and suffering, you know? And people need to make a profit out of that, and that's why there will never be a cure to it, you know? And like I said before, it's humanly impossible to find the cure to pain and suffering. So there's things that humans will never be able to do, you know, like find a cure of cancer, disabilities, and stuff like that. At the same time, they try to make money off it and make a living. That's what this life's about. Because that's all there is. There's treatments. That's it. People try to say, oh, there's a God out there, but there's no proof, you know? And if there is a God, how come God won't cure the pain and suffering while people are existing, you know? It's like, I'll never understand that. And God knows everything, and God is testing people, and there's judgment day once they're dead. And if God knows what they were doing, gave them free will, then God knew they were doing bad things, and that makes God evil, you know? So I'll talk about that in another video, more in depth, what I think of that. But yeah. And then there's people out there that want to bully people. There's people that want to make fun of people when they're overreacting constantly. Yeah, it's not good behavior, but people are assholes, you know? And that's why pain and suffering will never end, because people are sadistic, it seems like. It seems like people like to see people down and at their worst state, you know? That's what it seems like to me. Never ending the pain and suffering, man. I'm not that great of a human either. I can be judgmental myself. I gotta be better, you know, but I feel like there was throughout my life I always will have some bad judgments and I'll have some good judgments, so it's the thing, like, pain and suffering will never end. Humans will never find the cure. This will keep going on and on and on, right? I guess, like, for people while living, just try to cope and try the things you like to do, and like, if you want to better your life, you can. If it, say you try it and it doesn't work out, then quit, you know? If it makes you feel like shit, stressed out, you know, it ain't worth it at the end of the day. Because you don't want to feel too much pain and suffering, you know? Might as well have a little minor, I guess, right? This world's something else, you know? There'll never be the cure. We'll never find out where we came from. We have a limit. Our intelligence will evolve to the point where we can't exceed more information anymore, you know? And that proves my point that we'll never find the cure to pain and suffering, because that's why, because our intelligence has a limit. And it's like you're trying to put something in your school bag and it's full. You can't put anything in there. That's like what we're gonna experience. Especially like when your body's a prison, it's craving stuff. You have the urge to, like, say you want sex, you need to orgasm, you need to drink water, you need to eat something, you need to go to the bathroom, you need to do whatever it is so your body can survive, and stuff like that. And then you crave socializing, you crave some mate to reproduce with, because that's what your body's telling you, to prolong your DNA, and it causes more pain and suffering, creates new ones, and we'll never find the cure while we're existing, because that, to me, it just doesn't make sense, you know? We just keep doing this, like, constantly and constantly, and there's no end result. This just keeps going, you know? It's like a never-ending loop, you know what I mean? There'll never be a cure to this while living. Even if you try to mitigate your pain and suffering in this world, try to be healthy, nature will still win, you know? But at least when you try to mitigate your pain and suffering, there is a good chance that it won't be as painful, right? But that's not guaranteed because of hereditary diseases, and you never know, like, what can happen to you, right? I don't know, these are just like the type of thoughts I think of like every day, you know? It's just, this life is just pointless to me. Not even like depressed either, it's just, that's what I think, you know? I do things that I enjoy, like I said before. There's things that I like to do, and I still see it for how it is. There's so many people out there that are going through shit, like people in third world countries starving, going through poverty. Then people will say, oh, there's some people out there that will still enjoy their life, and yeah, they have a different perception than you. But that's still, even if they still enjoy their life, they'll still experience pain and suffering, and nature will win at the end. And their perception can change when pain is really impacting them strongly, you know? Because pain means something to people while you're living, you know? There'll never be the cure while you're existing. Like, all the problems in the world, all the bad things in the world will never end while existing. So that makes me to believe that there will be no cure for pain and suffering. Doesn't make sense. And humans always want more. We are not content with anything because that's how humans are, and we have, that's like our behavior. We always need something, or things get stale. We always want something new, like experiences, like a new object, you know? That's why those things won't make you happy, you know? Because it keeps going on and on and on. It's the same thing with this life. You always want something new. Because boredom's suffering, you know? Never ends. Like, throughout my life, I think that I'll experience some good things in this life, you know, in the future. But I already know there will be some bad thing will happen, and I gotta prepare for that. And I gotta make sure my mental health's better. I gotta make sure my physical health's right. But like I said before, mitigating your suffering it isn't guaranteed that it'll work, you know. But it's worth trying, right? That's why it's worth trying those things. So you never know, like, what result you get. If you do it, you could get a positive result. But at the end of the day, you're gonna die anyways, and pain and suffering defeats you, you know. Oh man, what else to talk about with this one? And just like seeing people that you like get older and stuff, that can make you feel like garbage, you know? Like, say if you did like your parents, even though you never asked to be born, that'll make you feel like shit, right? That can impact you, you know? That will never end. Once you bring a kid in this world, they could like their parents or their siblings or something, and that pain will never end, you know? And then there's people that don't like their parents, don't like their family members at all, you know? That pain will never end while existing, because you keep bringing new people in this world, and that will keep happening. They never asked to be here. They don't like their parents because they treat them horribly. They didn't prepare them for life. They did all kinds of things to them, you know? So there'll never be a cure to this. And it's just so selfish to bring a kid in this world just to find the cure, to solve problems, to be a hero, you know what I mean? Because that's not guaranteed for someone to be that way. It could be the opposite. It could ruin society. It can have problems. It could be vulnerable in this life, you know? Because it's so random how a person comes here, then their genetics and their upbringing, their environment, like, the kind of basically determine their life, basically, unless certain things hit on, like, randomly, you know? Like probability, and it's different. But I guess my whole point is, like, the human species will never find the cure to pain and suffering in this life, because pain and suffering will defeat you at the end, and nature will always win. You can call yourself a winner in this life, but it's meaningless and pointless when you don't exist anymore. Would you want to live this life again? And I'll say no, because if I live this life again, my life, maybe that life will be even worse than what I'm living right now, you know? Why would I take that risk to live another life, you know what I mean? Like, you never know what kind of pain and suffering I can go through at my next life, you know? And I would not ask to be born with that either, you know? It's like a dice game. I'm rolling the dice on the next life I want to live, and it's not guaranteed I'll live a good life with that, right? So, yeah, to answer your question, I would not want to live this life again, basically. Just look how bad this world is, you know? There's a lot of bad stuff that happens, like, there's, like, the murderers, the rapists, the pedophiles, like I say in all my videos. You can get diseases out there, like, you can get STDs, you can be born with birth defects, you can be born with a disability, or you can be born with a physical health problem, and a lot of this stuff's permanent, you know? And why would I take that risk? Yeah, I could be missing out on a good life. I could be missing out on even a more fun life than I'm living right now, you know? But why would I take that risk? You know what I mean? I would not want to live this life again. No, it won't make sense. And yeah, it's just not worth the risk, you know? Like, even if I saw myself at this next life and live that life again, how would I know if that's real, you know what I mean? How would I know if I'm actually really enjoying that next life or living that life again, right? So, it's a risk, it's a gamble. And that isn't right, you know? It's kind of like, say if reincarnation's real, I reincarnate and my life could be worse, you know? That would not be a good thing. That would be a terrible way of, like, living, right? You die and you live another life, and it's the same shit. Could be better or worse. Like, the thing is, nature will win at the end of the day, you know? Even if I live another life and, try to live this life again, you know? I would not live it.